We've been away for a while. We've been busy. A lot of stuff happening.
Yeah. We did a show together though.
Yeah, we did.
Which was nice.
We're
also in the middle of a hurricane.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a hurricane. Debbie, I think it's called.
Debbie.
Yeah, I hope it hits Texas and Debbie does Dallas.
It's my mother-in-law's name.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just fun.
Yeah. It's weird. Every year they're like, it's gonna turn into a hurricane, and honestly, this Florida and just the Southeast in general. Honestly, it's just every year it's this. So it's like we don't. It's like
I'm not even from here, and it's like I joke that like all Floridians are like amateur meteorologists because they know the weather so well.
Yeah,
and then they're also like very tough because they're just like. They're like Category 4 hurricane. They're like 70-mile-an-hour winds. They're like, I'm hanging out outside.
Yeah, this is nothing.
I'm going to shoot hoops. You know?
Call me when it's 116 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You know, that type of thing.
So that's fun. And but, yeah. So we did a show, clean show.
Yeah, it's a clean show. If you listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
You know that if you know us in person or have seen our sets, our regular sets, you know that we are.
Or if you're aware, we enjoyed going to the Sausage Castle.
Yeah, Do we still go to the? Yeah, we've been to the sausage. We talked about the Sausage Castle. So just the affiliation of that to what we just did at a faith-based theater. We did a clean show.
I didn't know it was a faith-based theater. I thought it was a historic theater. Going into this, and then he goes clean show, and I go, oh, okay, cool. And I found out like when I was inside the building, because it felt like walking into like a Christian establishment.
Oh it
had Christian energy.
It felt
too.
very much like walking into
no alcohol in the snack bar, like lots of snacks. They love snacks. They're great on snacks.
Oh yeah.
Christians
they don't mind you getting hooked on sugar, but just not alcohol.
Yeah, you know? They know how to. They know treats. You know, Christians know treats, and they're not afraid of it.
Because they use. I mean, since I was a kid in church, churches have used treats to lure kids in. It's almost like Hansel and Gretel. Like, come on, find Jesus, baby. You know, like it's very much that way. So so if you're familiar with us. This is what I use now when I do clean shows. I let them know, like right out the gate, I'm not a clean comic. I'm a professional comic.
Yes,
I will do any show that you pay me to do.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and that's essentially what we did. We got asked by a friend to go do this show. You know, and honestly, we rocked it. I think you had like one tiny slip up or whatever.
I said.
Which you didn't know, by the way. You were unaware.
It was cool.
It was so subconsciously.
Unconscious swear.
No.
And apparently my everyone who I brought, all like they said their mouths dropped.
Dude, okay. Like, so the friend who booked this, I can almost audibly hear his butthole clench shut.
Yeah.
But it was so funny. But I could tell you didn't catch it because you just did the rest. You didn't even skip a beat. You just went right into your set.
I know it was literally my brain thinking. You know, and I guess that thinks in swear words.
Yeah, and but this is how pro the fools of Foolosophy are. We crushed the shit out of that show.
Yeah,
and you know, and they were like,
I felt like we put on a great show.
Yeah,
you helped me a lot because right before I went on, you were like. Just slow down your pacing. You said something about pacing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I could slow down a little bit. And I did. And it helped me it helped me a lot.
Because you got this for me, for when I'm doing clean shows and this is what I have to remember is I have all my material. I have hours of stuff, but all my clean material I have limited amount.
Yeah.
So I have to like slow down because if I go in my natural pacing, I'm going to blow my load and I'm gonna run out of jokes that are clean.
You tell the crowd, I'm sorry, I just blew my load.
Yeah, just blew my load. Yeah,
the church crowd.
The church crowd.
There was a bunch of like middle-aged women, like sassy women in the front row.
Yeah,
and, like that crowd. And
I think a couple of them followed me on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. So I haven't really checked their pages. My thing now is I don't even. There was a point in time where I used to like when like a lady followed me. I'm like, oh, let's see where this is going. And I just like she saw me at a show. She's following me. If she wants to reach out for other purposes, then let her do it. But I'm not chasing anybody.
Convert you to her religion.
Yeah, because yeah, exactly. Well, also just women that meet me at shows, they're drawn to an aspect of my character, who I'm on stage at a show.
Yeah,
it's just a portion of who I am.
The 30-minute, 30 feet rule.
Yeah, that's the rock star they see.
Yeah,
and if they get drawn to the rock star, then that's on them. I've had that happen a couple times now where they get drawn to the rock star, then they hook up or want to date me, and then they're like, "Oh, well, your life's not rock star all the time." Like, no.
He has really serious opinions about wrestling. I just told you, I didn't know because he was such a stud on stage, and then I come down and it's just all Ultimate Warrior this and Ultimate Warrior that.
Every time we make love, he puts me in a figure four. Why?
He said, "Let's try the Boston Crab."
He stuffed money in my mouth like the $1 Million Man.
He tied me to the bed and put his dick on my bicep like
Jake the Snake.
Macho Man.
Oh, every time he comes, he goes, "Ooh, yeah."
He threw me through a barbershop window. He said it was foreplay.
Oh, but it was
come on our forehead and say Papa Shango. We're not clean anymore. See, we're not clean.
Yeah, no, we're not.
But it was fun. That was a fun. It's a fun challenge to do clean comedy because, like you said, you feel like I'm a professional comedian. I could do any show that you allow me to do. But it's a fun challenge, and I felt that on stage, thinking. I felt myself thinking more than I normally have to. Yeah. Doing stand up, which I did not like.
Would you I like it though because sometimes I get tired of my material. Even if it's new. Yeah. It feels repetitive. And so I like
That's why improvising is fun, but so I tried to riff or improvise a little bit. Yeah. And improvising clean was a fun challenge too. Yeah. Which wasn't so bad. I don't know. It was fun. I left that show being like, I feel like I want to consciously try to write more. Have most of my materials. I was like 60-40 clean, dirty. I say.
Yeah, I think for both of us because we're in a very similar amount of time in comedy and a similar place. We're not. Well, yeah. I mean, but like where we're at, we could close out shows. Yeah, we've been at it for a couple years. Sometimes we know our regular stuff works. Yeah, in regular rooms and stuff. So sometimes you need you get I know I find myself doing this. I know I'm able to entertain and be funny. Yeah, yeah. When I'm just getting to be me. So sometimes I find lack of motivation and. Shows like that are challenged, and it motivates me to think creatively in a way that's helpful. Yeah. I don't know. I've been doing a lot of shows lately where it's on paper nightmares. Yeah. Like 2 days before that show, I did a show in Daytona at an insult bar. They have these themed restaurants bar. An insult type of bar. Like they have these
Dick/Resort.
That's what it was. Dick/Resort. Oh. I was at a Dick/Resort.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Dick/Resort. There's some other restaurants too that have kind of copied that model. Okay. Where the staff insults you. There's
Jerks, chicken and burgers.
Yeah, there's a Philadelphia place. It's like a food truck, and they roast you and shit too there. And so I performed at Dick/Resort. And so the wait staff and the bartender, they were heckling and saying shit during the show. Yeah. So my thing was I'm not gonna be able to just get in the material. I gotta go jump into it. And so I the waitress. I was like, if this bitch won't shut up, I'm gonna marry her or something like that. And then she showed me a ring, and I was like, oh, nice Cracker Jack ring. I was like, that's a shit ring. I was like, I said he's a chump. I said that's what he don't got anything. That's why you're working in this piece of shit. And so I just went roasting people. Yeah, and
that's very funny, but it's also I could see. Daytona has the feel that her husband's an alcoholic who's getting free drinks at the bar. Probably, and he's going to be charging the stage with a pipe. You know? Like Daytona has that just that rough feel about it.
Yeah, because it
feels like the 80s.
One of the comics did that. He was trying to do crowd work, and he was doing that hacky question you asked like guys in the audience, like, how much money would it take for you to suck a dick?
Oh my god!
And he said, he's like $1 million untaxed cash to the guy in the crowd.
Yeah,
and the guy's like, nah. And I called him out immediately. Like, bullshit, you would fuck both those guys near you. I was like, for $1 million untaxed cash, I would suck this guy's dick and spit his cum into this guy's mouth. And I was like, what the fucking? And so that was what I did Thursday.
Yeah.
Friday, I did a showcase show where it was like me, Will Blaylock, and Anna Lepley, all funny comics, just like a murderer's row.
Nice.
But I was the first one. The comic that was in front of me, he normally does pretty well, but he just had a rough night. And I had to play cleanup duty. And so it was me just doing the assist, the lob. And then the next night, we did our clean show.
Yeah.
And it was like 3 different shows, 3 different things needed from me. And it was like, I liked it because it was all challenges. I recently did a Latin nightclub in Orlando with CJ Couch, and we both knew it was like when you're doing certain rooms, it's like a suicide mission.
Yeah, yeah.
You're like, we're not gonna come back from this.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
It's gonna be a fun ride home, joking about this.
Yeah, because
those are the best nights. You know that as a comic, like it's you could kill at a show, and you're like, that was fun, but bombing, you'll remember.
Yeah, so that that show was that, and the theater show was tough because I had to do TV work. I was on the news a couple days before that.
That's right, yeah.
And it was just like promoting a show that, and I love their like clean comic comedian Marcus Crespo, and like there was a young comic in here in town that was there that his grandpa bought like a whole fleet of tickets.
Oh wow,
he bought like almost a whole first row.
Was it the dude we met?
Arturo,
yeah. He was cool.
And you roasted his grandma.
That was his grandma?
That was his grandma, the one he said took a horse and buggy to the show or something like that.
Yeah, the ride share.
Yeah, so so sometimes you gotta just kind of put yourself out there to challenge yourself with anything, really. It felt like hitting on a girl is probably gonna say no.
Yeah, well that. Yeah, you should always do. Because you never know. I guess it's like comedy shows too. But the thing with clean comedy, though, it's funny to like insist upon hearing clean comedy.
Yeah.
Because like we're all people and human beings and stuff. Yeah. And we all have like the same kind of thoughts and impulses and wants and all of that.
Yeah.
And so to me, like I think it's perfectly fine if you want to just hear clean comedy.
Yeah.
But there's like a phoniness about it where they like get mad if they like look clean or like if a clean comic looks down upon a not clean comic.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
And I'm like, aren't you just like full of shit? Yeah. And aren't you like if because, like, it's like you could be squeaky clean image, but, like, everyone's like just a pile of shit
feels
deep
like
down,
Doing a clean show feels like what I feel doing comedy for an emperor feels like.
Yeah, you feel like
a dictator, because it's like, I want to be entertained, but I have this long list of stipulations that
like they bring morals into it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, normal comedy, like, you could do that, but it should be, like, reflected. Like, you could bring your own morals to it, but like you should go to comedy and hear shit that's like you wouldn't hear in like watching network TV. You know, you can watch network TV and hear clean comedy. Because they have to sell you commercials. Like, I don't know. I don't mind that people like it, but I don't like when people are like, you're a dirty comic or you're a blue comic. I've heard
they try to dismiss you.
You're a blue comic. You're like, oh, it's easy, and you're like, well, yeah, some of it's bad, but a lot of clean comedy is bad too. It's like there's good comedy and bad comedy. Or like,
I hate when they try to dismiss you as your dirtiness is your crutch.
Right. Yeah.
I heard a guitar comic try to say that, and I was like, go fuck yourself. All right? I'm not going to listen. No slander from no puppet comics, no guitar comics, no magicians.
No props, yeah.
Yeah, if you got a fucking prop and you're trying to say that me saying fuck and come is the same thing as your crutch, you can go suck all of my dick from the back. Like,
I heard a friend of mine, he said, we were like at an open mic and someone's guitar comic on stage. And he goes, fucking guitar comics. It's like Game Genie for the stage. Or Game Genie for a poor or something like that.
Oh,
he
my
phrased
God.
it. I think it was that. Game Genie
God.
for a poor. I loved it. I was like, man, that's so true. Because it's a guitar. If you play a one note, you just play a chord,
yeah,
on a guitar, the audience is like, ah.
Yeah.
They instantly settle in and they're like, blah. They're melted in there. They're like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you don't have that luxury. You have to, like, figure it out
Yeah.
And, so no respect for that.
Yeah, I my thing is, if you're going to be a good... I worked...
that being said, there are good ones.
No, the magicians, guitar comics, puppet guys, if you go into the set knowing what you are, just knowing that you're a novelty act, and you don't try to act pretentious and this, then that's fine. Do your thing.
I wish I knew a great fucking guitar act, and I can't remember his name. I would be able to look it up, but I don't want to take the time.
Yeah, no,
do that, but
there's a couple of them. I worked with a guitar comic who he was on SNL for like a season. I worked with him in Austin. Cool guy, unbelievably aware of what he was in the world of comedy.
Yeah,
no pretension, knows he has haters, all this stuff. Good guy. Fun. I mean, it was actually really funny.
What was his name?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
What's sad because he's probably more known than I am.
You remember the guitar more than him?
Yeah. His guitar was called Woody. But no,
I did doing shows with SNL people.
Yeah,
I did a house party with Melissa Villasenor.
Oh, really?
Back years ago.
Oh, really?
And she was like, so I've done a few shows with her, but I remember doing this house party show, and all of us who were doing the show were just standing in the kitchen waiting to go on. And she was so crazy talented.
Yeah,
like even back then, like right away.
Well, I remember her before she went on SNL.
Yeah,
before she got on like AGT and stuff. Like,
way before all that. Like she just
had a crush on her.
Yeah, her impressions are so amazing, and her actual speaking voice is like Mickey Mouse kind of ish,
Yeah.
And she was so quiet and,
she was so
nice
cute.
and sweet. Yeah, she was very nice. Like we were a bunch of like dirtbag, you know, comics and like all great.
But she has like improv energy. You know how like improv people are like very like, hey, you know, and we're just like drinky, fucky, like.
But yeah, it's fun seeing those people, and you're like, man, like somebody get her on SNL, and they did.
They did.
That never happened, you know.
Oh man.
But yeah, clean comedy. It's interesting. What else is happening?
Well,
Hurricane.
We got the Olympics right now.
The Olympics.
It's a lot of people
I
are
get
not
yelled
watching.
at for not taking the Olympics seriously.
It's tough because it's in France, so they're many hours ahead of us. So like we can't really watch it at the time they do it. So when we get it, we get recaps.
Right.
That's the only thing about watching in another area of the world where they're ahead of us.
Yeah. We're watching gymnastics, which I don't care about, and and my wife is going, this lady, Simone Biles, this girl is like amazing at gymnastics.
Yeah.
And she's winning all the gold medals.
She's the most decorated gymnast.
Athlete. Yeah, gymnast. Yeah. Like, and the announcers like going fawning over her and stuff. And I feel like, I thought this other one was better. I was picking them out. I don't know what I'm looking at. They can't even look. They flip so fast.
Yeah.
I don't even know how they watch that. I don't know how you look at that and go, oh, I know what happened.
I think here's why. Because we have the 24-hour news cycle all the time. We're desensitized, and also we're Americans, so we're accustomed to violence. I'm a pro wrestling fan.
We are accustomed to violence.
I'm a pro wrestling fan, all right? You know all the flippy shit that they do in the gymnastics world or whatever? I watch pro wrestling. They do the flippy shit, and then they take a clothesline.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't see Simone Biles doing a flip and then someone doing a super kick on her. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that. So it's hard for me to be like.
She jumps really high, but she seems, and I don't know if this is me, but she seems to step out of bounds a lot. Yeah. And then I was corrected and told, well, her stuff has a higher degree of difficulty.
Yeah.
So it's okay if she steps out, but then there'll be someone else who does the flippy stuff. Yeah. And then they land inbounds. The announcers are like, yeah, she's okay. They're okay. And I'm like, I think the announcers just like these, I was like, they're fawning over the American one. And I'm American. I'm rooting for America. Yeah. You know, you got to root for your home country. But I was like, Brazil, you know?
Yeah, plus there's so many things that are like, I didn't even know this was a fucking sport.
I know. They have like professional goldfish keeping and stuff. You know, it's just some random, you know,
professional sheep shearing. Like, it's just.
Have you ever seen a sheep be sheared?
Yes.
Isn't it violent?
It's violent looking. It looks like it hurts those.
The
bitches.
sheep look like they love it. They just hang out and just like upside down. But
I saw a sheep shearing video where like this black comic he dubbed it over it, and it was so fucking funny.
I love it.
I love but the whole degree of difficulty thing. I love that we're like people forgive them for the degree of difficulty if they make a mistake.
I don't.
I want that to exist in like dating, like women. If I have sex with a woman out of my league and I come early, like, well, it's the degree of difficulty.
Well, like so it's like out of bounds, right? And it's like you're penalized for it, I guess.
Yeah.
I heard the argument that there should be no sports in the Olympics that are subjective. Like there's judges, you know, it should only be like score. Like
that's why I like the track and field events.
Yeah,
all the track and field.
Yeah,
it's
run around a track. Whoever finishes first,
whoever throws it the furthest,
clear winner.
Yeah,
obvious. This is who won. Gymnastics is like it's a subjective thing because it's judges, right?
Yeah.
So there's money behind it, obviously. Like people get paid off or whatever. Like there's tomfoolery afoot.
Honestly, that's why I don't even like boxing anymore.
I know,
because there's judges. I want boxing to just be whoever is no longer conscious. Whoever's no longer conscious. That is the loser. That is the silver medalist.
Boxing.
He's just passed away.
46 rounds.
He used to be carried like Weekend at Bernie's to the podium. That's what I want. Did you see the pole vaulter, the French pole vaulter, who got disqualified because his dick hit the?
I know what a life he's gonna lead. You know.
He's gonna be like, what if? But I think he's gonna forget not meddling after I don't know the 10,000th woman he has sex with.
Yeah.
Or dude, I don't know what they do in France, but
my wife pulled that video up and showed me and said, "Here, could you watch this and tell me what you see?" And he jumped over and first take. I go, his dick knocked the thing off. And she goes, I had to watch it like 6 times before I caught it. And I was like,
I clocked
quicker with it real fast.
Even before he jumped, I'm like, his dick's gonna knock the thing. That's a lot of dick in that pants, dude. There was a diver, a French diver.
Oh, he got
same
offered
thing.
like an underwear deal?
Yeah, that dude looked like he was smuggling another gymnast in his pants. I was like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah. That it must be a good that's probably like worth training most of your life just to get that clip, you know?
What, of your dick hitting the pole?
Yeah, just like like getting that he probably trained to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Like he was
I can imagine like he goes up to a girl at a bar. She doesn't know who she is.
He's like, I'm moving to Ibiza.
Yeah. He goes up to the girl in the bar. He doesn't know who he is, and he's just like, just watch this clip.
Yeah, this is me in the Olympics.
This is me. Yeah,
I almost made it.
Almost, but if it wasn't for my huge cock,
I just had it.
That's so funny.
He just has a medal hanging off it.
Oh my god,
that's great.
Yeah, there was another. I saw. I don't know how you feel about this. I saw there was a couple, and they were from like Korea, I think. And
the North Korean, South Korean selfie. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
No.
Are they suppressing it?
No. I just. There's so much coming from it.
I know the couple you're talking about, but real quick, because I thought this was so cool.
Okay.
There was like a group of North Korean Olympians, which there's some countries that are not allowed to participate in the Olympics because of like war.
Yeah.
But North Korea's in there.
That's wild.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, North Koreans look like malnourished South Koreans.
Oh, wow.
We'll probably get banned for saying that. But they look like smaller versions of South Koreans.
They're not getting the nutrients.
Who are not very large to begin with, you know? But they were, but the dude took a selfie and it was like a big deal, you know?
Yeah.
Because it was like, you know, they all posed together smiling and took a selfie.
Yeah,
and
you'll never see those North Koreans ever again. They're gonna get executed as soon as they go home.
Dude, man, could you imagine?
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they? It felt like a good like a moment, you know.
Because it is.
Yeah,
it is. It is a historical moment. But like my thing is like, what type of punishment are the North Koreans going to receive when they get back? That's the thing. I always worry about that. You know, it's like they're just trying to fucking compete and live life and like.
I know.
So fucked up. You know.
And South Korea is like it's like one of the best economies in the world and like one of the most innovative, and
it's beautiful there. My friend lived there for like 4 years. She just moved I think to Vietnam, but she was there for 4 years and she would post pictures. She had like a really nice camera and she would always go out and like post pictures and stuff, and it was like, oh my god,
I want to go to
gorgeous there. Yeah.
South Korea and Vietnam.
Yeah.
Vietnam more.
Yeah, I want to check out Vietnam. I want.
It's supposed to be really cool.
I want to eat all their pho. I want to eat all their soups.
Any place with like cool street food seems fun.
Yeah,
you know, like walking around night markets and eating. Food.
Yeah, that's where she lives now, and it looks cool as hell right now. Like, I just like
where. Do you know what city?
I think I can't remember the exact name, but it's right outside of Saigon.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
If you could live anywhere in the world, no money, like money's not an obstacle or whatever, where would you live?
That's hard for me to say because I haven't traveled as much as some people have, or some people think I have.
Outside of the country?
I've never been outside of the country. My only perception of what is outside of the country is through other people's posts and what they told me.
Oh,
so,
really? Oh,
I've never been outside the country. Never.
The boy. Have you been to the Caribbean or Jamaica? None of that.
Nothing. Puerto Rico. That's it, and that's the Commonwealth of the United States.
Okay,
it's like
it's somewhere.
Yeah, I like island places. I don't like the idea of living there all year because of hurricanes and stuff. But I mean, somewhere tropical. But then at the same time, I don't always like the heat.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of always hot. Like. So I don't know, like somewhere where there's seasons. You know, I've never been to Europe. I'd love to, travel Europe and stuff like that. But I don't know, it's tough to say though. But I like the water.
We should try to line up some European comedy shows.
Yeah, I mean, I hit up Romaine and Cheryl Red.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're constantly in Europe. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, but they're also like doctors. But
I know they're super rich.
Yeah.
They're always like, "Do you want to come to a Tupperware party?" And I'm like, "This is a swingers thing."
Yeah. I went to that Tupperware party. My butthole's sore. What's happening?
Yeah.
What else?
Olympics.
Yeah, the Olympics. I mean, we and then there's the presidential election. That's
oh my god,
just been a giant shit show. It
feels weird this year, huh?
It's well, first of all, we had two geriatrics. We had two of the oldest people, and then one of them was like, "I'm just too old," and he's done. And so now they got this young lady gunslinger, like literal, because he was like the district attorney or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't even know who the VP. I mean, who are VP?
I don't think they announced it yet.
I don't think so. I was honestly this going back to pro wrestling. This feels like a pro wrestling thing. Like, who's the mystery partner?
It does, right? Yeah.
It's the Ultimate Warrior.
It's funny that it just feels like America's like in this crazy place.
Yeah, well, it's where all the fucking movies that we used to laugh at or like get scared about or like all feel like documentaries. Everything feels like a documentary.
I know.
Fahrenheit 451 was a documentary. Idiocracy, a documentary.
I know.
It was like, what the fuck is happening?
Idiocracy actually looks better.
Yeah,
because they have Brando.
That's sad when our dystopian future movies look like a better reality than our current reality. That sucks.
And it's funny how like I just hate that people like really love politics who have like no business in it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's because all it does is like separate people.
Yeah.
You know, and it makes people hate each other and argue, and it's like I like the come together stuff, you know, like food and comedy, music, all that happy horse shit.
Yeah, but that's an ideal world without capitalism. Like capitalism is the problem. The capitalism creates a love of money.
Yeah,
and it creates two different subsects. It creates people who have a lust for power and indulgence.
Yeah.
And then you have people who have to work constantly for survival.
Right.
So that's the two subsects. So no one gets to enjoy life because they have the riches and all that stuff to enjoy life, but they're not satisfied.
Yeah, and
in this group
it's
is
like a endless void of work and like
and it's like, you know, so and then in the middle are the people like us, you know, that like, you know, you know, work jobs, but we don't have a lust for money.
Yeah.
And then we also are in the world of art, and no one cares about art. It's not important because it doesn't make money.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
No one gives a shit about it because
yeah.
it doesn't make money in this
yeah.
capitalistic hellscape that we live in. So
Isn't that so funny? You're like someone could work a job doing, you name it, whatever.
Yeah.
And if they make a decent amount of money, people are just like, you're successful, and it doesn't matter what that is.
Yeah.
But if like your skill set, like your comedic skill set, right?
Yeah.
Is so much rarer than whatever, you know.
Yeah.
You know, person A does random job, you know, bullshit, because most of the time it's just a cog in a larger thing or some bullshit, you know, marketing, sales, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Capitalism horseshit, like where it's like, how could I get the most money out of you for the cheapest product I could give, or the least amount I could try, or whatever the fuck it is. It's insane. But it's how it is.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, like, it's weird when I talk to people who live in that world where they are very successful financially.
Yeah.
And they have a hard time grasping me doing this for so long and still making not much money. And they perceive me as brave. I'm like, no, I'm just passionate about something. You're not passionate about this shit.
Yeah.
You're passionate about money. You're passionate about power.
That's why,
you know,
that's why, like, you have, like, these random corporate whatever people, like, 25 years into their career, they're like, I'm going to try stand-up.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to try some sort of artistic outlet because I
suppressed it this
whole time.
I wanted
to, but I didn't do it.
Doing corporate takeovers.
Yeah.
Like, it's so wild.
Funny. It's funny to, like, think, finance bros or, like, whatever, you know, money people.
Yeah.
Because that's an endless void. And then if you've been around any kind of, like, or if you just have any kind of awareness, like, the magnitude of rich people, like people who they get a little bit of money, like, it seems like that one pile you were talking about, it seems like it's like an endless, they like chase the dragon, you know, the money dragon, and it's like an endless void, and they always want more.
Yeah.
And it's like, because it's of that mindset to get there in the first place. And typically, anyone who I know who makes a lot of money, when you talk to them, like, and socially or like time off, all they do is talk about work.
Yeah.
They'll just talk, hey, how's work going? My work is blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
and the whole time, one of the things also I noticed is it's got to the point where I've been around those types, like, you know, I don't stand up. I'm not that. I mean, I've interacted with famous, successful stand up comedians.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of times they don't talk about comedy.
I know.
And, you know,
who
because it's no longer fun for them.
Yeah.
Like they have to talk about other things because now comedy is just completely worked for them.
Yeah.
It's such a wild thing. But also, it's got to the point now where I've seen so many people chase the proverbial dragon and everything. So I enjoy when people stop listening to what society tells them they need to do and want to. This is what you need to do. This is what you want to do, and just start just doing what they're happy, what makes them happy. So it's fun for me when I see someone who, society keeps telling them they gotta date hot chicks all the time, man.
Yeah.
Hot chicks, and then they meet their first regular woman, and then they settle and they're like happy. Like there was a guy I knew that was like this model looking guy, right? And he was always going after these fucking bimbos, And who doesn't love bimbos? Bimbos are cool,
Yeah.
But you don't settle down with bimbos. You settle down with someone who's bimbo-esque, but you can also have a conversation with. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting girl. That's against type for him. But he was chasing all these girls, not just because it was like what his body wanted, but it was like what everyone else was like. You need to chase these hot blondes and stuff.
Yeah.
And he went with someone against type, and then he's happy. I've never seen this dude happier. Like, it's wild.
There's definitely something about compatibility too, because there's like certain people like friends and all that. It's the same thing with dating. Like some of it like matches up, and I find like it shouldn't be hard. Like some people be like dating so hard, or like marriage is hard, and you're like, well, like make sure you choose make sure you choose a good spouse, because it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be. Of course it's like work, but like
Yeah. Well, I think right now the biggest thing that I see, especially with like the generation younger than us, is like they're constantly telling each other, "Don't settle, never settle, never settle, never." And I get that.
And imagine the with social media, the amount of choices.
Yes.
It like 100x when we were coming up.
Yeah.
So I can't even I can't, and that's like the what's that paradox? It's like when you have too many choices and it's like impossible to make it or impossible to be satisfied with your choice.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called. Yeah. The
something, paradox or fallacy or whatever.
Yeah. Where it's like
it's like why like In-N-Out Burger does well, because it's like three things.
Yeah, I was going to say that. There's restaurants like, for example, like a Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, they
Cheesecake Factory. Their menu is just like this.
It's like a textbook of.
Yeah, it's like a J.K.
How do you want to die?
J.R. Tolkien. Yeah, it's like the Lord of the Rings.
You like Cheesecake Factory?
I mean, I like their. I honestly rarely go there for food. I go there for cheesecake.
For cheesecake, what? What cheesecake do you get?
Usually if I'm there for indulgence.
Of course.
I want their triple chocolate.
You don't go.
Caramel.
Do you have a diet cheesecake?
Yeah. Can you make it as bland as fucking possible?
Cheesecake.
Yeah. I want a cheesecake made of sadness. Can you give me that?
I like the one. There was one that was called like. It had some guy's name. It was like Chris's like insanity.
Oh my God.
Like cheesecake, and it was like even insane by our standards, and it was like one of those things like had everything in it.
Yeah,
and that thing was amazing. It was like too much. You ate it, and you go, "This is ridiculous."
Yeah, like I'm there. If I'm there for that.
Yeah,
I've been to Cheesecake Factory I think twice now. For like we were gonna get cheesecake, but we also got food, and
the food is not good.
It's just
whatever. It's not bad, but it's like it's not. There's too many choices, and it's really like any place like that, there's too much. Yeah, except a diner. I like a diner when it's like you ever go to a diner and the menu's like that, and it's like seafood and breakfast and every lunch imaginable.
Yeah,
you're like, how is this possible back there?
I don't know. There's some guy named Ted though making magic happen. There. It's like I don't know. It's. I mean, but it's also when you go to a place that specializes in one particular thing.
Yeah. Like
if you deviate and go get something else, just know you're gonna get something mid, something very subpar.
Yeah.
Like it'd be like going to like, hey, this is the blowjob hut, and you're like, well, how's the anal? It's like, it's okay, but the blowjobs are amazing.
We've gotten like appetizers and cheesecake from there.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad. They have like a buffalo chicken, something.
Yeah,
like a empanada thing, and then like I don't know, but yeah, the cheesecake is the way to go.
Yeah, I got one time I think it was like orange chicken. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But I mean, they were right.
Yeah, they have like a full Asian menu, a full Italian menu.
Well, I noticed that.
American.
I'm wondering if the distributors are the same as P.F. Chang's, because.
Oh, you think?
Because every time there's a Cheesecake Factory, P.F. Chang's is very close. Down at Town Center, P.F. Chang's and Cheesecake Factory are across the street from each other.
I wonder if they're owned by the same company.
I wouldn't.
A lot of those companies don't.
Well,
like
if not owned by the same company, the distributor.
Oh, okay.
And because the reason why I know that I used to work at Disney, and I worked at the gate where I had the contractors and stuff come through, and the distributors. I had all kinds of people come through, but I noticed that was like, oh, I started noticing distributor brands, like companies.
Yeah.
And then I would see them on the road, and they're delivering. This one company is delivering for all these different restaurants. So all these different restaurants are getting the same. Cisco, Old Dominion. They got these different seafood companies.
So Americans, essentially, no matter, you could go to all these different chain restaurants, but you're eating a lot of the same stuff.
You're eating from the same distributors. It's and this goes back to when we did our gummy bear episodes.
This feels big.
Yeah, when we were going back to our gummy bear episodes. Remember, I don't know if you. I was talking about how I went to 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
And I looked very closely at the 7-Eleven brand gummies, and it had an A on the stomach.
Yeah.
On the gummy bears. And then if you go to the brand Albanese, which is a more named brand of the gummies, it's the same gummy. Same texture, same taste, same A on the stomach.
Huh.
And it was like, oh, that's just Albanese, and 7-Eleven is distributing it.
So I know like Costco does that, like Kirkland brand, Costco's brand.
Yeah.
A lot. That's just some other company that makes whatever.
And they just slap the Kirkland sticker on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And which I mean, but that's what happens. I think that's what happened when.
But it's funny.
The big box retailers. Oh, good.
But it was interesting what you're saying. Like it's same distributor. I wonder how high up that goes in terms of like. I wonder how similar food is across the board between all these different restaurants and stuff. I wonder how many food distributors there are.
From when I worked at Disney, we had, I would say, at least 25 routine vendors. 25. And then every once in a while, like some rare mom and pop. And then even then, the mom and pop was filling in for the order from a bigger company where there was a supply chain issue.
Oh.
So I mean, and that's just Disney. So that's Disney. So I wouldn't doubt that those same companies are double dipping, triple dipping, quadruple dipping. So I mean, there's probably 40, and they cover the country. Yeah. Like I would say, it's insane
you probably do end up eating a lot of the same stuff from different.
Yeah,
yeah,
and I think it's because of supply chain. Because let's say you have a beef farm in Ocala, right, or somewhere, so that covers Florida, right, and then maybe Alabama, Georgia, stuff like that, and then there's another beef farm north of that, and there may be 10, 12, 20 beef farms, but you got, let's say this covers Southeast, this covers this region, well then. They may all be the same company. It may all be Old Dominion or Cisco or Koch Brothers, KOC, Koch Brothers or whatever they call it. Because that's a huge one. That's a huge distributor. Koch Brothers.
Yeah.
I always laughed every time. I was like, oh, the Koch Brothers.
I think it is Coke.
Is it Coke? Okay.
I think they say Coke, but it's spelled cock.
It's Koch. I was like, it's cock.
They're pretty bad dudes or something.
I heard they're not. They're ethically they're awful.
Yeah. So maybe
they're just a bunch of dicks.
A couple of cocks. Yeah. Well, it is interesting how our food sucks, and we're the richest country, and most other countries' food is all like fresh and good. Like a lot of the ingredients we have in America are like illegal in Europe.
Oh yeah.
You know, so
there's a lot of countries where the stuff that's in our food and the stuff that
I ate as much as I could for 2 weeks in Italy.
Yeah,
and I gained like 2 pounds.
Yeah,
you know, it was like nothing.
You'd have gained like 17.
In like half the time here. It's insane. So you're like, what's going on with our food? But then people will say, oh, there's a lot more sugar and salt and all the stuff in American food, like where. Our food is like so indulgent and like.
Well, our food is indulgent.
We're always at the Cheesecake Factory,
but also because of the size of our country.
Yeah, our portions are bigger.
The size of our actual nation.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because like from Miami to like I don't know Atlanta, you know how many countries you cover in that span of space?
Yeah, that's
in
true.
Europe.
Yeah.
So like they don't like supply chain, because of the supply chain thing.
They get more local.
Well, you put stuff in the food to make it last longer.
Yeah.
To survive the shipping, the travel.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
And so that's one of the biggest things that a lot of people don't realize is, unfortunately, because of that, a lot of companies have to put stuff in the food to keep it preserved. Preservatives are our biggest thing, but the problem is, you got lobbies and lobbyists, and there's so many different things. Honestly, if you really want fresh food, you got to go to fucking farmers markets.
Yeah, I know.
If you're really health conscious and stuff, you go to a farmers market. You go because a lot of times if you go to a farmers market, sometimes you're dealing with people who sell their stuff to those companies.
Yeah,
so you're just getting it, from the source, without having to worry about, then once they go into a facility, they cover it in this shit and whatever. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's hard. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta not eat processed foods. It sucks.
Yeah. Or it's so much cheaper to go through the process, because it's like you're buying everything in bulk.
Yeah.
And then the companies that don't make their food that way, then it's like there's such small batches, and they're like, well, it costs us so much more to not put the stuff. It's weird. It's like it costs you more money to not cover my shit in chemicals.
And then yeah. And then if you do eat healthy, you could spend a ton of money, and it's like all produce and stuff.
Yeah.
But then it goes bad, so you can't have too much. So you just got to buy a little bit at a time, and then but then you got to go shopping like every other day.
And unfortunately, why does it go bad? Because it doesn't have the fucking preservatives.
I know. So funny.
Dual-edged sword. Yeah. So I mean, it's either farmers markets or grow your own shit.
Yeah.
If you really want like when it comes to produce,
I like growing herbs for cooking. You go out and clip some herbs and throw it in where you're cooking. That's nice. But I've even had like just a few tomato plants and stuff, and I'm like, man, this is too much work. I don't know how farmers do it.
Yeah, I mean, but they dedicated their lives to it.
I know. Well, no, I have like tremendous respect for it.
Yeah, it's that passion versus profit thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, a lot of these cats like grew up in that world. It would be like if you had a kid and you're like, hey, you want to do stand up?
I would never wish that upon.
Oh yeah. It's kind of how was it Tucker? Tucker. She her daughter is getting
expressed interest in it
in art.
In art
because she was an artist before she did stand up.
Yeah,
and really really good. But it was just like it doesn't make no money because no one respects your art until you die. A lot of times.
Yeah.
Or you stop doing art for art's sake and then start becoming like a corporate. You do murals for companies and all this stuff for that, and you make it it's very monetized, and you worry about, So if it as far as like passion, like I don't know, it's like photographers, there's people that take pictures of nature and stuff, but they don't make any money doing that. They make money doing events and shit like that.
Yeah. Who do you think photographers were the biggest group bummed out with smartphones, like everyone having a camera?
Oh yeah, photographers for certain.
Yeah,
photographers,
video editors,
anyone in that world. I mean, it's the same way that people feel like writers. How writers feel about Chat GPT and AI.
Yeah,
it's
or
like
blog blog writers versus.
I see the meme all the time. It's like why are we creating robots to? Why don't we create robots to do my laundry and let me do the writing?
Yeah.
It's true though.
Yeah, it is true. I know it's funny to be like. To think like they're like we're gonna invent things to take everyone's job when it would be a much better world if they freed people up to just pursue passions.
Yeah, I think the start
universal
of
basic
the
income.
start of the decline of the societies when they started making too powerful vibrators. I mean, you talk about it in your bit, but it's yeah, men's women got too selective when they just knew that they can just jam their clam out and just.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there's new innovations and stuff like the woman they call it it's like a clit sucker.
Is that the rose? Is that the rose?
It's kind of like that.
Okay.
It's like a nurse shark for your
for
your business, and
a nurse shark.
I don't know what it does, but it works.
Oh, that's funny.
You should get one of those. It's pretty sweet.
Well, I'm single, so I don't know if I.
Well, you could break it out like a kit. You
know?
Yeah. You could be like, I'm
like a magic
I'm
trick.
Marcus. You could do Craig Shoemaker's bit, the love doctor.
Is this your clit? Is this your clit?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Technology's gonna be the death of us all.
Well, yeah.
Terminator's real, dude. Terminator's real.
They're gonna make like gonna win. Sex Terminators and all the nerd,
Yeah. No, I mean I get it. I remember when I was a kid, in the hose attachment on a vacuum, I was like, oh, what's this? Yeah.
You do it like a dirt devil.
Oh yeah, it was a dirt devil, I'll tell you.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Well, any closing thoughts? Any clean comedy before we go?
Any clean comedy? Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, but clean comedy is so funny because so all you just do is just take out certain words. It's not really that.
Yeah,
hard.
I know. I loved doing some bits and just switching words.
Yeah.
I did one bit that I switched some words, but then I realized the punchline didn't make sense because I switched cocaine and energy drink.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it doesn't have the same
drink an energy drink off the back of a toilet lid.
I heard that.
And I was like, I was saying it. I was thinking to myself, why would you do that?
Yeah, it doesn't because no one's ever been to a party and someone's doing Monster in the bathroom.
Yeah.
You just drink that out publicly. Yeah, but that's funny. I heard that and I was like, oh, okay, that's funny. Yeah. That's one way to clean up a bit. Yeah, that's hilarious.
I feel like some of them probably got it. The preachers, whoever has money.
Yeah. What I found out also is clean or dirty, like hitting on people from the stage is pretty universal.
Funny.
I did that.
I know. Yeah,
I did that. I did that at the nursing home show. I was hitting on the ladies from the nursing home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, someone's gonna benefit from them AARP discounts. I was like, me and you, Ethel, we're gonna go hit up the country kitchen buffet in the morning.
I used to go visit my grandmother in a nursing home.
Yeah.
In New York, and one time I always cooked, and so I made pasta sauce and pasta.
Yeah.
And I brought it to her to eat, and so she was eating it, but she was in like a day room with all these other old people.
Oh no.
And there's all these old Italian grandmother all sitting there, and they're all like, "Oh, what is that? Is that rigatoni? Is that And I'm like, I love to feed people, so I'm like, "Oh, you want pasta?" So I dished out and fed like 8 old people rigatoni alla matriciana.
You're Sicilian Jesus. Yeah.
Which is like a pancetta and tomato. It's like a salty
I made
tomato.
one meal for one Nana, and I made it last for 8 other Nanas.
That's funny. And the one is eating it, and she goes, "You use black pepper. I love it." And they were like raving about it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm hanging out, and then a nurse comes in.
Oh shit!
Because there was no nurses in there.
Yeah. And
she looks around, and she's like, "Are you crazy?" She's like, "You can't feed them." Like they're all on special diets.
Oh yeah, the blood pressure meds and shit.
Oh yeah. Oh. So and what I gave them is pancetta and tomato. It was like a pork-based tomato sauce.
Oh my god,
they all loved it, but I remember I was like, oh god.
Oh,
but
it's like walking into AA with a 12-pack.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was the life.
Who wants linguine? But that's also a solid compliment though. I mean, 8 out of 8 Nanas approved.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a tough demographic. They're usually very.
It was
particular.
a good batch.
Yeah. Good batch. Yeah. You're the Walter White of fucking retirement homes. Yeah.
You flat like
I am the one who cooks.
Oh, yeah. Shit. Walter White Sauce.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's not cool to be a clean comic, but it's cool to be foolish.